Hello everyone, welcome to the part 2 session on Anubhav Learning series for this series of CRUD operations on OData service from a Fiori application. In the last session, we have seen how to create a patch request to the backend system, basically a merge request wherein the data gets updated only when we want to update certain fields out of multiple fields in an entity set. We've also started creating our new view and controller and configured the route match handler and router for the navigation to this new view. In today's session, I will switch to the fragments option to design our edit and display screen and flip between the edit and display mode. Finally, we will make a request to the backend system to update the data into the database. We will also see what happens when there is a problem arise into the system during update of the data. How the Fiori application, which is generated by SAP Web IDE template, handles the error and catches the exception on the front-end side, displays the technical information to the consumer of the OData service. Let's go to the system, quickly understand once again our use case. So we've started designing a Fiori app with the product view. It is a local JSON model, which is going to hold the data just the way your internal table holds when you get the data from select query in ABAP. All the manipulation will be done in a local JSON model. Once the data is updated and required to be sent to the backend system, we will use an OData call to do a merge request to the backend. In the backend, behind the scenes, what's a read is being called, which gets the data. It compares the data which has been sent from the client side and updates the data with the full payload to the backend system in the database. Now, let's go to the Fiori application and create our display and edit fragment and switch between them. So just to make ease of use, we will go to UI5 SDK and go for a sample. In this sample, now I'm going to design or take use of a simple form application. Let me just go ahead and do that. So I will search for a simple form sample. And when you go to simple form, you can see a lot of samples here. We'll go with one group sample. And you can see this is a similar requirement we also have. A display-like screen to display some data, and an edit button click, you can see it goes into an edit mode. You can click on save, the data gets updated. For example, if I just say 30001 and say save, you can see the data has been updated. If I go for edit and update it to 252525, but still if I say cancel, you will see it will revert back to 30001. You see, when I say cancel, it reverted back. That's the beauty of local JSON model. You can keep track of the changes. You can make a local copy of the data, and you can allow n number of updates to the user until they want to save it to the backend. This is what is being done with the local JSON model. Maybe by looking at it, you may feel that it's a single screen wherein we are just changing the editable property for input field as read only, but that's not the way. In Fiori, we have actually have designed two fragments. One is a display fragment and one is an edit fragment. So when we're starting the application, by default, display fragment is displayed. When user clicks on edit button, we are just flipping the fragment, hiding the display fragment, displaying the edit fragment on the UI. When user click on cancel button, we are actually, the moment we go to the edit mode, we take a data and make a copy of this data into a different object. When user click on save button, we send this object to the backend system via OData. But when user click on cancel button, we revert back this object to its original state back into the display mode. So this is your local JSON object with which we are playing all the time for all the manipulation. Hope the flow is clear and the flip between display and edit fragments. Now we'll go to the source code here on the top right corner, and you can see here there's a page view, there's a change fragment and a display fragment. I'm going to reuse all of them. Similarly, the switch between the display and edit mode is being done by following methods. You can see here there is a cancel, there is an edit button, there is a save button. When user comes to the screen, main screen, we first display by default the display fragment. And as you all have seen in my training, when we display or work with fragment, we don't re-instantiate them again and again. Otherwise, we'll have so many objects collected on the browser, which are of no use. We always use a global variable, which you can see here is a form fragment. In this, we will store our instance of fragment once it is created. Next time, when you want to go to the fragment, you just read the fragment object from here. You do not recreate the object again. Just like in ALV in ABAP, when you create an ALV object, you use create CL underscore GUI underscore ALV grid class. When you come back to the same screen of ALV, in the PBO, you always put a if condition. If the ALV object is there, return the same object, don't recreate. However, you just edit the data by set table for first display every time. The object should be created only once. Same thing is happening here. When we want to display a fragment, we are checking if the fragment object already created. If it is there, we are just returning the object. If it is not there, we are creating it for the first time and storing it into our global variable and then returning it. Next time I want to go back to the display fragment again from edit mode to display mode, I will call this method and it will return the existing object rather than recreating every time new fragment object. That is the logic which is being written here in this code. Then all the buttons, their toggles, all of that is also being taken care by this toggle view button method. Yeah. And every time you flip, you say edit or cancel or save, we are flipping it with a show from form fragment method. So all of this code will be usable for us. I just showed you in a brief view. And all of you, by the way, knows the fragment concept, what I've taught you in my training. So now we're going to use display and edit fragment. Let me go back to our Fiori application and create a fragment folder. So I create a new fragment folder. And now inside this fragments folder, I'm going to create two fragments. One is display product fragment. And another one is edit product. It's a change product fragment. Let's get the code. Since you're already comfortable with the fragment concept, I'm this time going to do speed up my development with copy paste. Got everything here. And now for the display fragment, let's get everything over here. It's time to now update the fields. So we want the product ID to be displayed as the first field. So let's say product ID. Then next one will be the product name. Next one is the product category. And the last one is product price and currency. Yeah. I can just keep the IDs also accordingly. So here we can say category. You can say name of the product. So I'm going to do binding guys in a minute with our local JSON model for all the data. Yeah, we'll do that. So product ID, name, category, price, all these things are in place. We are ready with the display fragment. Now if you remember, in your product view, you have done a binding. So let's go to product view and you can see this is the binding with the local JSON model. I will take that. I go back to the display fragment and update these values. Also in the last session, we have taken a backup of the data format in the JSON. So these are all the properties which are being exposed from the OData. You can use them now here. Perfect. Let's do the binding with the local JSON model. This is the property binding we have to display all the data in display mode. That's it. Now that's our display fragment. Let's go to the change fragment and paste this complete code once again over here. The another thing which I want is to display this input field together with another input field in a form-based view. So for that, I am going to use this input field with the layout data at the end here. There you go. And this one will be changed to input with the value property, guys. So that's my input. All the value properties will come here. So all my input fields now, because we are going for an edit. Now, one important point is that product ID will never be updated. So that's why I'll just keep it as a text itself. Yeah, I'll keep it as a text. Rest all properties are editable. I'm going to remove this content. So that's my content for the simple form in the edit mode and display mode. Very good. We are ready almost. So now the data changes will happen, but ultimately we need buttons, edit, cancel, and save buttons like we have in the sample. We're going to get those buttons, but first let's take the code for these buttons. So edit button, cancel button, and then reusable buttons to flip between the fragments. I'm going to copy all these code into my controller for product. So let's go to the product controller and paste these buttons, paste this code which we have taken to flip and switch between the fragments. We have to also change the name and the path of our fragment. So you can see here the path of our fragment is BIP is my namespace dot fragments folder. That's the folder name. And the name of our fragment is display product and change product. Yeah, and change product. Initially, when the page is loading, we are by default at the time of initialization loading the display fragment. So that code is also written here initially. Let's go to the flow. When the application starts, user will see by default this display fragment. So let me go to the method, show fragment method. In the show fragment method, we first of all remove all the content and we say insert content and get a fragment. It goes to the get fragment method. Here it checks in the global variable, do we already have a fragment created or not? Yes, we don't have it right now. System comes here, creates an object of your new fragment, adds it into the global variable and returns it. When the fragment object is received by the method, it will insert this into the page. Page is nothing but it's the object of your current view page. You're going to embed it here in this. You can see this ID of the page. Same page I'm talking about. It will embed it, this fragment over there. When user click on edit button, you will see there's an edit which will get called. Before the edit takes place, what am I doing? I am going to get the model of my view, local JSON model, which is my product view model. Let me just get that. And in this, I will get all the data for my product data. Let me get product data. This product data, I'm making a copy into a global variable. Maybe I just name it as prod data, global variable. And then I just switch the views, switch it to the edit mode. If user click on cancel button, I have to restore the values. So that I will take it from my global variable where I stored the data before starting the edit. So you can see we are making a clone of the JSON data into a local variable. Later point of time, if user does a cancel, we'll restore the status, restore the values. Yeah, and that will be in the product data here. And finally set the data and the model name everywhere. It's a named model, guys. So you have to put the model name everywhere. Product view model. That's the model name, local model name. If user click on save button, you can see we are just saving it and basically not replacing it with the old state. But here is the best place where you can make an OData call to send data to backend. But before that, let's test all this setup what we have now. It's important to now also have the edit, save and cancel button enabled in the product view. So I come to the product view and I'm now going to add custom footer content. There is nothing called custom footer. I need to check the semantic page content. How can we get our custom buttons? Okay. So maybe I think it's just footer. No, it's not footer as well. I need to go and check UFF SDK. But important is now to just take these buttons from here. These are all the three buttons what we wanted. The edit, save, and cancel button, guys. And now come here, put them here with their actions. And now we want to know what is the semantic option available for us to put the footers in the semantic page, full screen page. So let's come to SDK and search for full screen page or maybe semantic page. There you go. Inside that you can see a full screen page and you see there are some buttons, edit, delete. These buttons have been put. How did they put it? Come down and check. You can see they put it in a custom footer content semantics. We'll use that. Just put that here and now your three buttons will be live. When the application loads, as you can already see, we are by default loading the display fragment. I need to also make sure that my edit button is enabled by default. Just make it true when the application starts. Perfect. Let's come back, refresh our page. On click of the edit button, it will take you to the next screen. Suppose I want to edit now data for Margarita. I go for edit screen. Oops, it's not loading my view. Something is wrong. Console is your best friend. Let's press F12. Check your console and see what is going wrong. This.getRouter is not a function. Somewhere in the work list, there's a problem. You see, I think I've done some typo here. Where did this 4 coming from? I don't know. We go to on edit of work list controller method. I think some error which I've committed in the system is causing this. Yes. Okay. Cool. Let's come back, refresh the page. Yes, there you go. Now I go for Margarita edit. There you go. You can see it has loaded a display fragment for you in the view. There's a nice edit button at the bottom. You can go for edit. You see save and cancel button are now enabled, but oops, my edit form is not displayed. Something is wrong. Press F12 and check. You see there's an error in the console, something we are doing wrong. You can see there's something with the duplicate ID name text is being added, which is causing this issue. So let's go to the change fragment. Some conflicting ID problem is existing. I think it is with this text control with same name text. It does exist already on the display fragment and it's causing a problem. So maybe I can say PID text. I'm changing the ID. Duplicate IDs are not allowed. Come back, refresh. It will restore the state of the UI, guys. Yeah, there you go. You see, it's directly taken me to the next screen for edit. Click on edit. Again, some problem. Definitely we have a ID issue. Once again, some ID is conflicting. Go to console. Yes, again it says adding with the duplicate ID prod price. This time it's an issue with the price field. Some duplicate ID is causing this issue. You can see this is a input field price. Its duplicate ID is causing an issue. So maybe I say edit price. Come back. Last try. I hope so. This time ID changes will not bother us. Close this. Go for edit once again, guys. There you go. You can see now the non-primary column is editable. Perfect. I put a value, maybe 100000, something I've changed, guys. Now I decided I don't remember what is the value which was earlier there, what the value I've changed. I changed something. And I completely forgot what values were earlier there. And I don't want this change to be done. I can say cancel. You can see it has reverted back the change because you're doing everything in a local JSON model. You made a copy. The moment you say edit, you made a copy of this data in a local variable. When users say cancel, you restore the values from the local variable to the JSON. Now suppose I want to decide a change to be done. Suppose I want to change the price to 850 and this should be US dollars. Currently, let's go to database. What is the value in the database? Let's go and check that in our DB table. So connect to our S4 system. Go to SE11 and just put our table name. Put the product ID and execute. You can see it is currency is 950 US. Why currency is not displayed here? Some problem. I think some binding issue. Let's go and check that. Currency code is the right value, guys. That's the right variable name for binding. I think we have done a wrong binding. Let's go back and check. I've just done the binding with currency, not currency code. Okay, first of all, the binding itself is not there here. Now put it. And let's take this. Go for display fragment. And here it should be currency code again. That's the issue, guys. Okay.
This conference will now be recorded.
So now we can go back and check on the UI. What is the final value? Come and refresh. You will see the currency code first of all will be displayed. And it's right now 950 euros. I want to change the price. I want to make it 1020 US dollar. When you want to make a save, and I want this value to be updated in the backend. I say save. You can see the value is updated here, but the moment you refresh, it won't come because it's not yet updated in the actual database. We have not fired an OData call yet. It's just making a change in the local JSON model. You see still in DB, it's 950 euros. I refresh, you will see it back 950 euros because that change was just in a local model, just like your internal table change. You do it in a local internal table, similar to that. Now, it's time to make this call to the backend and save this value with an update request. On save button press, we are going to finally send it to the backend system. Let's do that. So you can come down. Where's my save button code? Yes, handle save press. That's where we got to do. Let's get the OData model object. And I can say SAP UI get view dot get model. Sorry. It should be this dot get view dot get model. That's a default model for the application. And the view, which is OData model. And I'll tell my OData model, please update the data. And I'm intentionally doing a mistake. I'm not specifying key of my product. So I say product set. And I did not specify here the key. What am I updating? Which I was also telling in the last session. I'm not doing that. Watch out what happens. And I will now specify here the payload, what I want to update. And finally, your functions, which is success, callback function, and your error callback function. Let's use that. Okay. Right now, I'm not handling anything in the success and error callback functions. On the success callback function, just want to display a pop-up message. So sap.m.messagebox API we will use. So for that, dependency should be added on the scaffolding on the top. Let me do that. So I'll use SAP M message toast API to show a message toast. And just put that over here. Come down. Show message toast dot show. Data updated successfully. But ideally it will not happen because I did not specify my key during update. Let's specify the payload. Payload is very simple to specify. because all the data you have it in your local JSON model. So let's call up our local JSON model and get the product data from there. So I say, get me please my local JSON model, which is product view. This is like your internal table. You are getting the data, collecting it finally to send it to the backend system. Say get property slash product data. All the data will come in this payload for update. It will be sent to the backend system. Now see guys, I've not done an error handling, but still system will throw me a pop-up showing the error in the call. Of course, we know that we did not specify the key to update the record in the database. Because of that, issue will arise, and we will see what is the issue it will produce actually. Okay, we'll see that. So let's go ahead and fire this request and see what happens. You see in the error function, I'm not specified any error handling yet. Still, it will actually throw me an error. How? Let's go back and check that. So I can come back now, refresh my page, and go for an edit. Edit. I put 1000 and I will say save. This time it will make a call to the backend. Let's also observe that call, what call it is making to the backend system. So you can always check the call which are going via the Fiori to the backend system in the network tab. I click on now save. There you go, batch request. It's showing accepted. Wow, that's great. So now I can come down and you see guys, which I was talking about, the Fiori UI by default send every request as a merge request, not as a post request actually, or a put request, because put has a risk and that's why it's doing a merge. Let's go to the backend and see if the data has been changed here. Not sure. You see still it is not updated to 1000. The price of the pizza should have got updated to 1000 guys. It did not. Something went wrong. However, there's no error in the console. You can come down and you see we did not pass the key. So it would have probably updated the record which is having blank key guys. Blank key. If you remember, we have a record with a blank key in the database. I'll just go back and show you. I think it has updated that record. Ideally, we'll never have a blank in the database. It would have updated something here. We are not worried about that part actually. We want to update exactly the same record which we have selected on the UI to be updated, for which 1000 should come here. We did not pass the key. I will now pass the key and show you how does it update. We can also track and debug the code which is triggering to be able to send this request to the backend. Go to sources tab and search for products controller. Come down and search for .update. This is the update call on a product set entity set with the payload. I just select here, click on edit, and now let me put a value 120 or 123.00 maybe. And I want to change currency to US dollar. Let me click on save guys. You can see the payload. It is now having 123 US dollar. This is the value which we wanted to update. This is the product ID. And it's an update fired on product set entity set with a success function. I will set up a breakpoint on error and success and let's see what happens. I execute. You see it has come to the error function. It has come to the error function guys by default. It has come to the error function. And you see in the console also the error is coming up. Yeah, you can see in the console and the error says for backend administration run this transaction. But what is the actual error? Let me just check. Resource node found for segment product set. This is the error you get guys whenever you want to update on an entity set without passing its key. This is what I was talking about. Many times it may so happen that you're trying to call a resource and trying to update a resource without a key, and you then keep on Googling it and you get hundreds of answers on Google. This can come because of many reasons. One of the major reasons during update is because you forgot to pass the key. That's the main issue. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. We'll pass the key and then we'll see how does it update the data. Okay, so now I will just come back to our app And here we'll pass the key. So I just construct the key. And this double quote, concatenate the key, guys. Yeah, we're going to concatenate the key now. So I'm going to take this data, complete product data payload dot product ID. Okay, and just save this. And now make a call. Now, whenever an error comes, you can also do error handling. So maybe I want to first show you error handling, guys. Let me just remove this code, which I've just added, and take this code as a backup in my notepad so I don't have to again rewrite this. So now what we will do is we will also here put in function OError. And I'll put a debugger. Never put a hard-coded debugger like this in JavaScript in a productive code. But since we are doing a local testing, we can put it and check it. Let me go back, refresh, and this time you will see it will hit my debugger due to error. And we will read the error object and display this error to the end user. We can actually do that. Ideally, user won't understand anything, but we can actually do that. I can say edit, put some value, save it, and execute this update. And I can see it's hitting the debugger. And you've got the error object. Let's analyze this JSON object. Very easy to analyze. In this JSON object, you can see a header and response text. This response text itself is a JSON string. We have to parse this because it's coming JSON as a string. Okay. So what you have to do is this dot response text, enter, and you see this is completely a JSON. And I can say JSON dot, that's a ready-made object, parse, and pass this OError dot response text. You got a JSON object out of that string. And you can read this message now. Resource not found for this. However, it's too technical for end user, but still will be helpful for you to display this information on the UI. So you got the error object, dot message if you do. So dot message, you can see the error, and then dot value. Just do that. And this is exactly your error text. Take this code, we've already tested it, and display that as a pop-up. So I can come here, sap.m.messageBox.error. Pass the message text. We are done. You are actually now going to display this message coming from the backend system to the end user. Wow, that's how we do error handling, guys. Coming from OData, any error which comes up, you're displaying it to the end user as an error. Very, very helpful. Okay, so now let's go back and see error handling. Just go for cancel. I'm not going to debug anymore because I trust my code. Go for edit, 120 US dollar, and I click on save. There you go. You can see error displayed to the end user. Of course, they will contact you. It's a technical error. Ideally, on the backend side, you can also throw a relevant exception and with a proper error message, which you can also catch here like this on the Fiori UI and display. Okay. Now, when an error happens, we want to revert back the state. So we already have the data. Basically, during cancel, whatever is happening, we should do it on error here. So during cancel, we are updating the data back from this local variable to our local JSON. That is what we should do again here. So I'll just do that. During the error, we should do that. And this OData.product data is from the global variable, and now I have to create a local variable for that global variable. This is what also covered in my training. What is the reason why we have to create that object as this object? And now OData is this one. Don't go literally by this OData. This is not really the OData. Okay, it is the local object of your data JSON object of the data model. And now during the error, this dot get data of product data we want to replace back. That is what we are doing. Replace it back. When an error comes, revert it back. Now this is the proper code. Let's come back, refresh. You can see it's 950. I go for edit and I change it to 120. My update fails, it should revert back to 950. Say save. Something is wrong. Press F12. We have gone something wrong. Yes, I know. What is that wrong? It's not this, it's that. Yes, right. Let's refresh. Edit. I make it 120. Remember the value was 950. I made it 120 and update will fail. I say update is failed. Say okay. Oops, it did not change to 950. It should have got updated back to the 950, guys. Let me check the console if there is any error. Of course, that's an OData error we have. Okay, I think it did not update. We have to do something else. And I think I have to just do set property, entity set. Okay, great. Let's check it again. Maybe due to error, it is not updating. We can check, make it 120. 950 is the original value. Yes, there you go. You can see it is changed back to 950 because update has failed. User will not see 120. Still the backend has 950, guys. Okay, perfect. That's the proper error handling of an OData. However, you can also write a reusable function somewhere and then call that. A lot of things you can do really. In the next session, I will show you promise-based approach where all the OData calls will be going with the central OData manager. We will create a reusable JavaScript for OData manager. Any call which we want to make will go via that central OData manager like you do it in ABAP. Oops, ABAP. You create a database class. All the database calls goes via that database class. And then on top, you have your API layer. I'm going to relate that with ABAP, and I'm going to write similar module in JavaScript for you to understand how can we modularize such OData calls. And we'll make use of promises in JavaScript to do all the error handling. Stay tuned for my next Anubhav Learning Series video. A great example for OData calls centrally. We'll see that in the next class. We'll modularize it. But right now we are done with error handling. It's time for a successful case. Let's update the code because the keys are not passed. I'm going to pass this key now from the payload. Save it. We are done. Let's go ahead and finally make a test for your update. Come back and refresh the page. Go for edit. And let's take some example 555 lol, and that's US dollar. And I want to say a save. Let's check the backend. I think it's still 950. I did not save yet, guys. You can see 950 euros. And go back and refresh and show you again. Still 950 euros. Okay. Come back and shoot up from here. Save. Oops, resource not found for segment this. Yeah, something is wrong. Again, you see the error handling is in action. Very much helpful. And we are doing something wrong, maybe. Payload product ID. Is this a valid product ID? I think so. Yes, it is. It is a valid product ID. I just say close. Go to backend. Check if it's a right product ID. I do a control F on my database and check that up. It is a valid ID. Why it is saying resource not found for segment? Maybe what I do is I will reload the metadata, guys. So I just press F12, right click on the top and say empty cache and hard reload, guys. Let's do that. And then we'll give a try again. Empty cache and hard reload. I think I got the reason, guys. Our entity set name is not product set. It is products S set. It is products set. And now I'm passing the key. Save this. That should be the right one. Refresh again. Okay, let's go for edit. Now try one more time, 555 US dollar, only two properties I'm updating, guys. It should not corrupt other data. It should only patch up or merge these two data. Say save. You got a success message, data updated successfully. Congratulations. Let's go back and check. It should be now 555. Not yet, just refresh on DB. And there you go. In your database, your data has been updated. Rest all the data also kept intact because it's a merge request. It's not a put request. If you make a put request, it's bad. Other properties will get corrupted, will get blank. That's why always Fiori UI makes a merge request. Now this is bad address. It's not address data, it's a product data. Let's go and change this label. Maybe we don't need it anymore. I'm just going to go back, and because we have copied it, so we have to just search for it where it is. Here it is. I just don't want it. Make it blank. Go for change. Make it blank. That's it. Perfect. Perfect, guys. Okay, what else? Finally comes to delete. It's very easy to perform a delete. Just the way we used OData model dot update, guys. So you see, the method name is dot update. We're going to use a delete. Let me introduce a delete button. On click of the delete button, we're going to delete the data. That itself is available, can be added directly in the view. So I go back to my product view. Let me add. Always it will be available. I will call it as delete. And I can say handle delete. And I can say text is delete. Done. And now handle delete. Let's go and put the code here for deletion. So I just come here. And now what we are going to do, we're going to read the value of which product you want to delete. Very easy. Take this complete code, put it as it is, get the OData model, get the payload, get the product ID, and this time instead of update, it's a delete call. It's a delete call, guys. On this products set entity set, no payload is required, it's just a delete. When it is calling back success function, you can say data deleted successfully, or I would say product deleted successfully. Otherwise, again, we are doing error handling, reverting. No need to revert back actually, just to an error. That's it, guys. That's the delete implementation. All the crude methods by now are complete with Anubhav. Okay, this is also not required. Save this. We are good. Let's come back, refresh the page. Now I'll try to delete a product in the system. You can see I want to delete Margarita 555 pizza. Maybe I just go back somewhere. I have a spelling mistake, extravaganza, spelling mistake. I go for edit. Now I see delete button. Let's delete. I clicked on delete. It did something I don't know. No error have come. No message have come. I have no clue what has happened. However, you see there's a method. OData model dot delete is not a function. So in the OData model, there is no delete function. I think it is remove, guys. Yes, it's remove, not delete. Let me give a try one more time. Let me give a try. If I don't remember, maybe I will check SDK for that. So let's go and check network call as well, if it makes the right call. Okay, there's some debugger, execute. And I say delete. Product deleted successfully. Ideally, we should navigate immediately back, guys, but we're not doing so. That's bad actually. But now if I come back and check back, remove it and execute, you can see no extravaganza is anymore found on the UI. Oops, it is there. Why it didn't delete? Why it didn't delete? It should have ideally deleted. Let's check. I think it is deleted. Refresh. Maybe I just go back, select another one, maybe Coca-Cola, and I say delete. Product deleted successfully. But it's not actually deleting from database. Something is wrong. I don't see any error. Let's go to network call. You can see batch request also is successful. You can come down and check. It's a delete request going on the product set, entity set. Yeah. And then there is a count request going. It's again reading the products. Some requests are going, but it's not deleting. The reason could be commit work. After the deletion, it's not committing the changes in the database. And that's where I think our next method comes into picture. SE24, go to the class for OData implementation. And once the change set is ended, once all the changes have been done, the change set end method gets called. In this method now I will say commit my changes. I say commit work and wait. I want to do a synchronous update. So just say activate. Once my change set ends, I'm saying commit. Come back and just fire a delete one more time. Okay, delete. Let's come back and check database. Coca-Cola should disappear. No, it's not working. Something is wrong. So what do you think? What could be the issue? Let's go one by one. I think there is no issue from the Fiori side because there's no error coming in the console. These are some other errors related to i89. Don't care about them. There's no error from the Fiori side. Hence, there could be an issue with the gateway side. Let's go and check implementation for delete method in the OData service. Go back to the class. And I think right now it's already in commit mode. So we don't need explicitly this commit because the moment change set is called, it's automatically anyways committed, always. But I can go back and now see product set, delete entity. Let me check the code inside this. I go inside. Oops, I don't have a code itself. That's the reason, guys. There's no code in the backend. Let's do a read table IT key tab into inline data declaration, work area index of 1, and I say my product, LV product ID equals to work area hyphen value, and I'm going to delete data from my ZBIP products table where product ID is equals to LV prod. Together with that, I will also remove the images, guys. Images for the product. Okay, can do that. I can save it. I can do a quick check. Yeah, of course, this is not yet defined. Let me define this. Type my ZBIP product table. And it's actually not showing me the options for non-keywords in ABAP. So in ABAP, if you want to display even the help from non-keywords, you can actually go to this option on the bottom right corner and choose code completion. Open completion automatically after, and also show me the code he suggests from non-keywords from the text. This also I want settings. So now it will also start suggesting me. Yes, there you go. Beautiful, like ABAP. I can save it and do a quick check if everything goes good. Delete. I think we have missed the from statement. Whenever you delete from database, you should say delete from database table name where whatever is your key equals to the key value. So I think that is what we are probably missing. So we have to do that, guys. I think I missed out the from statement. We got to do that.
This conference will now be recorded.
So let's add the from statement. And we will just save and activate the code. So I save it and let's activate. Okay, there's an error. Let's go and check that up. Sorry. I forgot the field name. That's my field name, right? Check it and activate my code. All the methods, of course. And we can now go ahead and fire a delete. So I want to now delete the data. Can come back and say delete. Product deleted, which is a Coca-Cola. Can come back to the database table. Watch out, this record. Refresh. There you go. That's your delete implementation. So something you as a developer have to keep your eyes open to be make sure that everything end to end is well connected together. And that's it for the session today. Please do like, subscribe this video. If you think my videos are helping you, please do share your feedback and comments in the comment box below. Click on the bell icon to subscribe to my channel for more interesting videos. If you are new to the UI5 Fiori, I would strongly recommend you to go ahead and subscribe for my course on my website, onlinefiorytrainings.com, for UI5 and Fiori training. Because you are new, you need to be very careful while writing the code. If you're doing copy paste of the code, you're doing it the wrong way. One or the other day, you will be in a big problem because you're doing copy paste of code. With that, Anubhav signing out. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you in the next session with the promises. Goodbye.